Hello and welcome to Genealogy Gems podcast episode number 294. Are you looking to break down some genealogy brick walls or maybe just uncover some hidden gems online? Well, today I am sharing 15 fantastic websites for family history research that you might not know about or that have powerful features or new updates that you really need to be taking advantage of. So grab your notebook, or if you are a Genealogy Gems Premium member, head to the show notes page and download our ad-free PDF cheat sheet with all of the links for all the websites we are about to explore. Let's jump right in. Okay, first up, we are tackling tricky handwriting with Family Search Full Text Search. That is our first website. Okay, so you know how OCR technology, optical character recognition, lets computers read typed text on old documents. Well, for years that didn't work very well for handwritten records, but Family Search really is changing the game. Their full text search project, available through Family Search Labs, is training AI to decipher historical handwriting, particularly in records like probate files, land deeds, and more from various countries. The AI is constantly learning, and while it's not perfect, it has the ability to pull up names and keywords out of dense script, and that's really impressive. It even generates a summary of the record. So here's a pro tip for using this. Use quotation marks around phrases, things like last will and testament. And what's the really exciting part about this? Well, more and more handwritten records that once required tedious page-by-page browsing are becoming keyword searchable. So dive in. You could explore at the collections currently using the full text search over at familysearch.org/search/full-text. All right, from reading old handwriting, let's move on to untangling family relationships with our second website. It's also part of Family Search. Have you ever gotten tangled up trying to figure out if someone's your second cousin once removed or something else entirely? Well, take the guesswork out of cousin relationships with the fantastic tool over at the Family Search blog. It's the Cousin Chart blog post. On this blog post, it pulls together some of the best tools. It's got a handy visualization chart, an interactive cousin calculator tool where you can select each person's relationship to the common ancestor, and it will calculate it for you. And they even have a math-based method. I try to stay away from the math stuff, but they do if you enjoy that. The math method, for instance, involves counting the generations back to the shared ancestor for both you and your cousin to determine the relationship and any, quote, removals. Having these multiple options really caters to differing learning styles, which I think is great. So bookmark this one. It's a lifesaver when you need it. Next time somebody quizzes you at the next family event about what your cousin relationship is, you're going to be able to tell them. Go to familysearch.org/blog/cousin-chart. Now, Family Search is one of the biggest genealogy websites out there. It's absolutely free. And our next one is another big website. This is one of the subscription ones, Ancestry.com. And we're going to tackle a common question about this third website on our list. We know that Ancestry.com lets you filter searches way back, even into the 1600s. But is that the limit? Not even close. According to Ancestry themselves, their oldest documents are the Mulldorf deeds from Bavaria, Germany. They date back to the 1300s. These deeds primarily concern property and land ownership, but can also contain information on trades, occupations, and sometimes lineage details, especially for non-residents needing to prove their origins. And Ancestry often provides summaries or transcriptions alongside the images. And thanks to modern technology, even these incredibly old documents really can be surprisingly legible and searchable. So go check those out in the card catalog at Ancestry.com. Now that we've looked at finding some very old records, what about managing all of this stuff that you're finding? Okay, we're going to do it. Let's talk about organization. And we're going to do that with our fourth website, FamilyTreeMagazine.com. Are you feeling burdened under piles of paper or drowning in digital files? Getting your genealogy organized is a very common goal amongst us all, and Family Tree Magazine has a fantastic resource page to help you finally conquer the chaos. It's absolutely free. It's their Organize Your Genealogy page, and it gathers their best guides on everything from taming paper clutter and specific filing systems like by surname or location, to managing digital files effectively, organizing photographs, creating research logs to track your progress, and even managing your DNA match data. There's truly something here for every genealogist if you're aiming for efficiency and getting organized. So you can check out this free resource at familytreemagazine.com/organize-genealogy. Okay, shifting gears from organizing your research, let's start finding more stuff. And how about finding historical context? And we can do it with our fifth website, Viridian Collections. So if you were ever familiar with Elefind.com, this was a website that was devoted to newspaper research, and it had digitized newspapers on it, and it was specifically geared to genealogists. Well, many of us were sad to see it go, as so many websites do kind of come and go. But the good news is the company behind Elefind was DL Consulting, and they are still helping libraries digitize their collections using their specialized Viridian software. So why does this matter to you? Well, because you can browse the fascinating digitized content from their clients, including many unique and free newspaper collections, directly through the Viridian website. You'll find that at viridiansoftware.com/collections. This includes major state archives like the Hoosier State Chronicles in Indiana and Virginia Chronicle, university papers like the Yale Daily News Archive, and even international collections. It really is a great way to access collections hosted by specific institutions that you might not find anywhere else publicly. So go check it out, viridiansoftware.com/collections. So you got to love newspapers. They are fantastic, but sometimes the most precious finds are really personal stories. So I want to tell you quickly about one that highlights the importance of searching for memoirs, and our sixth website is a great place to do that. Imagine discovering a detailed personal memoir written by an ancestor born over 170 years ago. This actually happened to me not too long ago. For decades, I knew that my husband's great-grandmother was born in 1853, and she had written about her very early life as a pioneer. But this book that had been talked about in my husband's family was lost. Nobody had seen it for decades. And then I recently got a call. My sister-in-law found this book on her bookshelf while she was downsizing her house. She didn't even know it was there. I think she said once she saw it, she remembered, oh, that's right, my mom gave me this when I was a teenager. Well, thankfully, she's moved it from house to house, and it's filled with incredible details. And I think that this experience that I've had is really a reminder to go talk to your relatives. You never know what family history treasures might be hiding in their homes, on their shelves. They may not even be aware of it. But if they know you're interested in researching the family history, they might be able to help you out, or at least let you look around a little bit. But while you're waiting to find something, hopefully not 40 years like I had to wait, try searching for memoirs in the Family Search digital library. You can do that for free at familysearch.org/library/books. I would recommend using their advanced search. So you could put like the word memoirs or diary or journal in the title field, and then put a surname in the keyword field. And just try variations on both the words memoirs, diary, and journal, but also variations on the surname itself. And also try adding a location keyword, something like a town or a county. If direct search doesn't work, try browsing collections associated with your ancestor's location. You never know what you might find. That is familysearch.org/library/books. Well, finding treasures can happen anywhere. Never give up looking. And one of those places that you might not yet be looking at, but you should be, are online auction websites. And that brings us to website number 7, which is eBay. eBay.com. If you're in the mood for some retail therapy, genealogy style, eBay.com is the place to go. You might be surprised what family history treasures that you can find there. Now, when you head to the website, think beyond records. Okay, I'm talking about artifacts and ephemera. Over the years, I've snagged things like catalogs and tools from my husband's great-grandfather's hardware store, old billheads, letters, fraternal organization items like medals and certificates, an ancestor signed stock certificate. You can find photographs, yearbooks, postcards. I even found a tablecloth that was created in the 1960s. It was embroidered with the names and the birth dates of everybody who attended, I guess, the big family meal that they had. Dozens and dozens of names, and some of these people were born in the late 1800s. Now, don't forget what we call surrogate heirlooms, items from an ancestor's time or place, things that may not be exactly them, but wonderfully representative of the time and the place in which they lived, like a town postcard or an item for a company where they used to work. So here's my pro tip on this. Run searches for family names, specific ancestral businesses or hometowns, and then save your search. The truth is, the day that you search, it's very hit or miss whether you'll find any items active that day. But who knows what's going to be posted online for auction in weeks or months down the road. Sign up for a free account at ebay.com. And when you run your search, just click the saved search. It's a lot like Google Alerts. They will continue to search for what you asked for. And if they find an auction that matches your criteria, they're going to email you at the email address on your account. That is how I have found the majority of the items that I am enjoying today. So go check it out, ebay.com. Now, from artifacts to finding people, sometimes specialized help is needed, especially in the cases of adoption. That brings us to our 8th featured website, and it's Birth Parentfinder. Navigating searches related to adoption often require some specialized help. And birthparentfinder.com is a resource dedicated to doing this, combining traditional investigative techniques with modern genetic genealogy expertise, using DNA test results to help reunite birth parents, siblings, and adopted children across the United States. They emphasize they have a high success rate and offer intermediate services to help facilitate reunions smoothly and sensitively. They also understand the needs for discretion. They offer a free blog with strategies and success stories. And they've recently launched the Finding Family DNA with Chris and Jay podcast. And don't miss the episode with the editor of Family Tree Magazine, Andrew Cook. So again, the website address, birthparentfinder.com. And at a minimum, go check out the blog. Okay, let's dive back into newspapers. I love newspapers. And there has been a major update at one of the best free resources, Chronicling America. The Library of Congress's Chronicling America newspaper website has gone through a major upgrade. It's always been a go-to for free historical newspapers, largely thanks to the National Digital Newspaper Program, where state partners digitize their local papers. Well, the new Chronicling America Historical American Newspapers Collection website, there's a mouthful, is really great. You'll find it at chroniclingamerica.loc.gov. Boasts a completely redesigned interface and improved backend infrastructure built to handle its massive and ever-growing collection. Content is added almost weekly, so it's worth checking back on a regular basis. Some of the key upgrades include better search refinement. They have an improved image viewer and updated advanced search options. But I think one of the coolest new features over at Chronicling America, especially if you like visual things like I do, is the ability to explore newspapers visually, geographically. They have an interactive map. It lets you zoom into specific areas, and you can click these blue dots to save available digitized newspapers. Plus, there is a time slider, and that allows you to filter by date. It is really cool. Go check it out, chroniclingamerica.loc.gov. And speaking of newspapers, don't stop your search at Chronicling America, even though it's free. Sometimes you need to expand out, and there is another growing collection out there. It's from MyHeritage. It's called oldnews.com, and that is our 10th website. This is really going to broaden your newspaper horizons. They launched it relatively recently. The site already contains hundreds of millions of pages, effectively doubling the newspaper content previously available over at MyHeritage. I think its strength really lies in its global scope. It features everything from small-town journals where you might find, the local gossip column about your ancestors to major international publications that can provide context on the world events that your ancestors and your families were living through. And they state that millions more pages are added monthly. So again, this is one of those websites you want to bookmark it and check back on a regular basis. So that's oldnews.com. All right, we'll stay right there because right after this, I've got the last 5 websites on our list. You are not going to want to miss them. Today's episode is sponsored by MyHeritage, a global discovery platform enjoyed by 110 million people worldwide. MyHeritage has it all and offers a full-service experience that bridges your past, present, and future. MyHeritage has developed powerful genealogy tools to enrich your family tree and take your research to the next level. Receive automatic matches to family trees of fellow MyHeritage users and historical records, which provide new details that you can add to your tree. Explore 12 billion historical records to uncover fascinating new insights about your ancestors. Add new information to your family tree in one click. Check your tree for inaccuracies, colorize your black and white photos, and connect with relatives around the globe. MyHeritage makes it all possible and puts the discoveries at your fingertips. I've been colorizing some of my own personal family photos, and not only are they beautiful, but in many of the photos, it's actually been revealing more details so I can see more of my family history. Growing your family tree is easier than ever before with MyHeritage. The discoveries are out there and waiting to be made. Visit myheritage.com and try it today. That's myheritage.com. Okay, well, we just talked about oldnews.com, but let's move away from newspapers and look at clues hidden in plain sight in old photographs. This brings us to website number 11, and that is Fashion History Timeline. So those old family photographs that you have probably hold more clues than you might think that they do, especially in the clothing that the people are wearing. Fashion can really reveal social standing. It can hint at the activities that maybe your ancestors were involved in. And crucially, it can help you oftentimes date the photographs. So in order to decipher these clues, it helps to have some resources available for reference. And that's where you're going to want to check out the free Fashion History Timeline. It's at fashionhistory.fitnyc.edu. It's from the Fashion Institute of Technology. And that's an academic resource, but it's very accessible. You'll find analysis of specific surviving garments, examples of fashion depicted in dated artwork or films, thematic essays like the history of swimwear, designer profiles, and definitions of historical fashion terms. For example, do you know what a barbette is? The fashion history timeline can tell you. It is perfect for pinpointing that unfamiliar style in your grandmother's portrait. And for deep dives, they also link to an extensive Zotero reference database. So you'll find all of this at fashionhistory.fitnyc.edu. Okay, from fashion clues to honoring immigrant ancestors, let's take a look at our 12th website, and that is the American Immigrant Wall of Honor database. If your ancestors immigrated to the United States, you might find their names or add them yourself to the American Immigrant Wall of Honor at Ellis Island. Now, this was originally started in 1990, primarily for Ellis Island immigrants. And I interviewed the director of that program at Genealogy Gems. I'll have a link in the show notes for you. Well, it's now open to honor all immigrants, regardless of whether they came through Ellis Island or not. And the best part is you can search the existing database for free at the statueofliberty.org website. You can add your ancestors' names if you would like. There's a donation involved. You'd have to check the website for current levels. I think recently I saw it was around $300 for a standard line, and that supports the foundation. Keep in mind there are a few rules in doing that. There's a character limit of around 40. They don't want you to include titles like Mr. and Mrs., no dates or numbers, but you can have your ancestors' names. And the inscriptions are typically installed once a year. So you can find details and the submission form at heritage.statueofliberty.org/add-WOH. And of course, you can search that database. Website number 13, I have to say it. It's one of my favorites. It's been around a long time and it keeps on going. It is deadfred.com. How incredible would it be to find a lost photograph of your ancestor online? Thousands of people have had that exact experience using this free photo archive. It's at deadfred.com. It's a repository of user-submitted old photographs, and generally they are before 1960, where the subjects are deceased. Many of them are unidentified or they're partially identified. So you can search by surname or location the people who upload these photographs, or Joe Bott, the founder himself, who has a massive photograph collection. They will add any information or tidbits that they happen to know about the photograph. And you might just get lucky finding something. And if you find a photo of a direct ancestor that's part of the actual Dead Fred archive that Joe has himself, they'll often send you the original photograph for free. They love reuniting photos with family. It's also a great place to upload your own mystery photographs. Be sure to include any clues like the photographer's studio name, location, anything that you know about it. And other users will be browsing the archive and might be able to spot something there. The submissions are reviewed before they appear on the website. That usually just takes a couple of days. But it's possible someone else out there may hold the key to helping you identify your old photos. So you can get started doing that over at deadfred.com. And photographs aren't the only visuals that can help us in our family history research. Another one of my favorite visuals are old maps. And 14th website helps you search the text on old maps. It's the David Rumsey Map Collection. Now, you've heard me talk about the David Rumsey Collection a lot. It's already an amazing resource. But not that long ago, they launched the Machines Reading Maps tool. And you'll find this at davidrumsey.com. This new tool has indexed hundreds of millions of words across 57,000 digitized historical maps. So think about searching for terms that are relevant to your ancestors' lives, found directly on the map text. think about places. And examples would be the word saloon or lumberyard, church, school, anything related to your family. And if you have a unique surname particularly, why not give it a shot? You never know what's on there. Landowner names could appear on plat maps, and there might even be specific business names that you can find. The possibilities, I think, here are huge. And the advanced search lets you combine these text searches with the map metadata filters, like location and date range. So hover over the results to see the map snippet. And yes, all the maps at davidrumsey.com are free to download and explore. And finally, that brings us to our 15th website for family history. And let's look beyond specific records and artifacts to understand the world our ancestors lived in. And we can do that with our 15th website. It's JSTOR. Let's enrich your family story with historical context. JSTOR.org is a vast digital library of academic journals, books, and primary sources. Now, while you may not find your great aunt's birth certificate, you can find incredible primary source material. And these might be things created during the time period, perhaps in the same area where your families lived. So think about looking for letters, diaries, oral histories, government documents about the local areas or events, contemporary articles on historical industries like mining or textiles, or social movements relevant to your ancestors' lives. For instance, I saw the incredibly detailed World War II POW journal of Lieutenant Joseph Ed Carter on JSTOR Daily. Reading accounts like this could bring your own ancestors' experiences to life. If your ancestor happened to serve in the military alongside somebody or in the same location or fought in the same battle, it doesn't have to be their memoir. You could get a lot of amazing details from somebody else's, and those could be at JSTOR. So dive in and see what context you can uncover. Go to jstor.org. I'm always excited when I come across a new website or a new tool at a website that I'm very familiar with, and it opens up new avenues of research for us. So hopefully you've been bookmarking these in your web browser. And of course, if you are a premium member, go to the show notes page at genealogygems.com for this episode, which is number 294. And there you can download the ad-free cheat sheet PDF. It's of the show notes. It's got links to all the websites I've talked about here today. And that's going to be kind of your worksheet to go down the list and give them all a try. If you find something interesting, I would be very interested to hear from you. And you can do that in the comments section over on the show notes page as well. You'll find that at the bottom of the page. Coming up right after this, I've got a couple of quick tech updates for you. These are tools that you definitely are going to want to start using right away. We'll be right back. You know, I'm continuing to have great success over at newspapers.com finding articles about my family. And that's why I'm so happy to tell you that today's episode is sponsored by newspapers.com, because they really are your go-to resource for unlocking the stories of your ancestors. You can dive into the newspapers where your family's history just unfolds as you search nearly 1 billion records, and you can do that in seconds. Newspapers.com offers an unparalleled treasure trove of historical newspapers, providing a window into the past. With papers from the 17th century all the way to today, newspapers.com is the largest online newspaper archive. So whether you're a seasoned genealogist or you're just starting on this exciting journey, newspapers.com makes it really easy to search for things like obituaries and birth announcements and those everyday stories that shaped your family. It's kind of like having a time machine at your fingertips. And here's the best part. I'm so happy to tell you that our listeners get an exclusive offer. Use promo code Genealogy Gems for a 20% discount on your subscription. It's Genealogy Gems all together, no spaces. And you go to newspapers.com, put in Genealogy Gems, you're going to get 20% off your subscription, and you're going to start finding newspaper articles. So I wouldn't wait any longer. Go sign up today at newspapers.com and embark on a journey of discovery. All right. Gosh, it seems like in the world of technology, things are moving so quickly. Every day there is something new to talk about. And I have a couple of things I wanted to bring to your attention because I think they're really terrific. I'm probably going to sit down and do a couple of more in-depth videos on these, but I just want to bring them to your attention right now so you can go and take a look. If you use Chrome as your web browser to surf the internet and do your research, there are a couple of new features that have shown up that are really terrific. And one of them is around artificial intelligence. Now, as you know, they have Gemini, their AI chatbot, and we did an in-depth full-hour show on 11s with Lisa for the premium members. That was a live stream. And then, of course, the video replay is always available afterwards on the website. And when Gemini introduced the Gems feature, I just thought, oh, I got to pay attention to this. What's going on? And it's a wonderful way to create kind of little mini apps within Gemini and I was showing some ways you could do that specifically for genealogy. I will have a link in the show notes. That topic is bigger than we can kind of do in this episode. But the Gemini Gems, if you use them for genealogy, can really automate your processes, save you huge amounts of time and actually a lot of headache, particularly when it comes to writing really good artificial intelligence prompts, which if you've been playing with AI for a while, you know can be challenging to get them right. But the feature I want to mention to you right now is the one over at Chrome. Now with the latest version of Chrome, you have access to Gemini at your fingertips. So you could be on a website and in your browser tab at any point, maybe you're looking at a website, you're doing some research and you think, oh, I got a question for Gemini. I want to check this really quick. You don't have to go to the Gemini website or anything. In the address bar where you see the URL of whatever page you're on, go up there and type the @ and the word Gemini. Now, the first time you do this, you'll have to type it in. After that, really, all you have to do is type the @ and you'll see it pop up as an option. You could probably just click and select it. It'll pre-populate it for you. But after you do that, press the space bar and you will see in the address bar, it'll say, enter a question. And it's converted your @Gemini to Ask Gemini. So now you can quickly ask Gemini a question typed right in the address bar. Let's say I could say, what newspapers were published in Akron, Ohio in 1880. Press enter, and it automatically takes you to the Gemini page, which is gemini.google.com, and immediately starts populating the answer to your question. Are you curious when the newspapers were in Akron? It says here, based on available information, the Summit County Beacon newspaper was established much earlier in 1839, and it continued publication through 1880. There was the Akron Observer and Sunday Gazette. I mean, folks, you're going to love this. It's such a fast and easy way to get to a quick answer to something when you're right in the middle of your research. If you don't want it to kind of take you away from the web page where you were, then all you got to do is come up to your web browser, just click the plus sign to open a new tab, type @G, and it pre-populates Gemini. So what I do is I press the right-hand arrow and then the space bar. And now I have enter your question. You're still in that new browser tab, and you will have the answer within seconds. This is just a really great way to tap into the power of Gemini's AI chatbot. And just know that you can use it for free. There might be some limitations. If you do this a lot, there may come a point where it says, oh, you've hit your limit for today. But as I've mentioned before, they do have, at least the last time I checked, they had a 1-month free trial. You can do that to have some of those limitations lifted. But just for the occasional quick Q&A kind of thing, this is going to come in so handy. So again, that's using the Chrome web browser, typing at Gemini, hitting the space bar, and entering your question. That's all it takes to get those answers really fast. And that's what I love to do here. I love to bring to you new ideas that are going to help you be more productive, get your answers faster. Because if we save time, gosh, then we have more time to do the other kinds of projects we just never seem to have the time to get to. And genealogy should be fun. So stay tuned here. If you haven't already, be sure to follow this podcast in your podcasting app, or you can check out our own Genealogy Gems dedicated podcast app in your app store. And head over to the Genealogy Gems YouTube channel and subscribe to us there. We've got a lot of new and exciting things coming down the pipeline, and I can't wait to share them with you. And a great way to stay in touch with me and to kind of hear about those new things coming down the pipeline also is to go to my website, genealogygems.com, and sign up for the free email newsletter. It comes out probably about once a week, and with your first email, you're going to get a free downloadable PDF ebook of more favorite websites that I have. So go and check that out. Thank you so much for listening, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.